I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I have struggled with pornography for a very long time, and I know a lot of men struggle with it. It's definitely affected my life. I think it's time that we talk about it and really figure out ways that we can make active, lasting changes. And I know for me, it's kind of crazy. It started just like in junior high. I would say 6th, 7th, 8th grade, kind of staying up late at night, accidentally or whatever, and seeing infomercials. And it was just random commercials about women, flashing. It was Girls Gone Wild. I don't know if y'all remember those infomercials back in the day, but Girls Gone Wild was rampant late at night. You see those commercials over and over. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So curiosity killed the cat. That's when I would go to school and I would see people. This was when the PSP came out. This is a throwback. PSP had internet for the first time on a mobile gaming system, and people was watching pornography in class on the PSP. I'm just like, what the heck is they watching? Then eventually it kind of took over where it was like, now I'm going on to websites. I think it started with like Playboy and then went to like pornography websites and kind of just took off from there. And before I know it, it was something that was in my life on a consistent basis that I really didn't have a control over anymore. Honestly, it was a cloud over my head for a very, very long time. I'm talking about just raining down, just like a weight of sin just on me. I could feel it. And I'll be honest with y'all, it was more so I would never kind of like hit it. If you asked me, I would confess it. But if you don't ask me, I ain't really saying nothing. But a lot of the times I felt like I walked around like a hypocrite. Because I dealt with like that struggle, I tried to do good in all the other areas in my life. You know what I mean? School, as a son, as a friend, as a brother, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll be honest with y'all, I ain't trying to toot my own horn. I did pretty well. Nobody would have ever suspected it. Nobody would have questioned it. Nobody would have called me out on it, because if you look at my resume is pretty clean. I'm pretty pristine. You know what I mean? I'm doing pretty well. But that wasn't the case when, I look in the mirror or when I close my door at night. And I'm just like knowing that this kind of demon, this monster, this weight is literally has a hold on me, coming after me. And it affected my mood, affected how I feel about myself. It affected my self-esteem. It affected my identity a lot of the times, because it was just I was so in the dark about it. Nobody really knew. Then I got to college, heard of the gospel for the first time. You know what I mean? Like where it was like truly like, holy crap, like this is real. And I remember being 19 years old. I had just turned 19. So it had to be like December 30th, something like that. And it was at a New Year's conference in like Chattanooga, Tennessee. Random place. Random. And I remember revealing that I had a struggle with pornography for the first time to like my spiritual leader. And I remember feeling the weight of sin coming off of me, feeling that weight come off of me. And it was the first time I truly experienced God and truly experienced Jesus and realized why he came to save. I really, truly knew it from that moment on. It was like a light bulb click in my head, like, Jesus died for this. This is not somebody, this is not something that I have to live with. I can overcome this. And, this is why he still accepts me through this. So I felt the love of Jesus. I still struggle with it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It was still a struggle. It wasn't like just like a clean kind of break. Everything was smooth sailing after that. I still struggle with it. I'm gonna tell you why. It was one of them things where eventually when God reveals certain sins or certain shortcomings or character flaws in our life, we still have the free will to decide what we're going to do with that. We still have to actively pursue, like we're going to create boundaries or defenses for it, or we're going to ignore it, make excuses, or actively choose to continue in the wrongdoing or continue sinning. For me, it was kind of a mixture of a lot of things, right? And I think it broke down to a lot of self-awareness and accountability of reasons why I went to pornography. I had to really ask myself why. There's a few reasons, but most of the main reason was because I didn't get a lot of words of affirmation from my father. He didn't know that. He didn't understand that. God bless him. Ain't nothing wrong with my dad. My dad was an amazing man, loving. At that time, I wanted his approval and validation. For whatever reason, I sought to get approval and validation from other things since I wasn't getting it from him. That's not an excuse. Now, that ain't the right way. That I could have talked to my dad. I could have confronted him. I could have really poured out my heart to him. I took the passive and cowardly route and chose to go get validation acceptance, comfort from either pornography or women. When I started having sex, it was a mixture of pornography and women, knowing that I use with wanting affirmation from either God or from my father, because I kind of viewed them as the same at that time. And from what I needed, I can go to pornography or I can go to women. It started kind of the bridging of the gap of like, okay, like we know why you're doing this. We know that it's wrong. So we need to figure out exactly how we don't continue doing it. That realization became true to me, I would say, 2018, 2019, when I found that out. I'm like, dang, I do go to women a lot for comfort, for validation, and for approval. Like, it don't have to just be sex. It could be likes on Instagram. It could be words of affirmation from them. And if all comes fails, I can just watch pornography. And whatever video, however long, like, I can get that dopamine hit, feel good, fall asleep, and I'm good. Literally, that's what's the cycle. Learn that about out in 2018, 2019. Me understanding that, I felt even more wrong by continuing to do it. Now that I think about it, looking back on it, you know, from 2018, let's just say to now, I had to ask myself, what is the thing that's going to make me kill it and stop doing it? And for a long time, I don't like letting people down, and I don't like upsetting people. And it can be from a legalistic approach where it's like, I want people to have a certain image of me, so therefore I'm gonna try to keep that perfect good boy image just so I can get approval, like, and validation. I lived in that window, in that realm for a long time too. So that was kind of part of the reason why it was something where I felt like I wanted to make it a personal mission to accomplish. You know, something that I got over. You know, I know it'll probably make for a better story, a better video, yada, yada, yada. I honestly did not want people to know, because I didn't want people to judge me and look down upon me like Chris is just like every other guy. What I need in order to get over and to get over these, you know, these habits and these things is I need disrespectful accountability. I need people to ask me, how many times are you watching pornography? Did you have a spirit of lust this week? Were you tempted this week? Are you tempting women? Are you manipulating women? Why are you talking to this girl? What's the reason for talking to this girl? I need to have those questions asked of me so I can be checked. The moment you let me be the king of my own life, where I just check myself, brother, I can make up random ass excuses and justifications all the time. Literally, I'm a professional at it. Things started to change. Only time I defeated pornography for a long period, consecutive time, is when I was around a system and structure of accountability. When people asked me repeatedly, every single week, over and over and over again. And I'll be honest with y'all, even in that system now, I still have that motivation of I don't want somebody to have a negative perception of me. So that kind of motivates me not to, continue to do it. You know what I mean? Thank the Lord that it's been rocking really well. Because I promise you, it ain't me, it's Jesus. I don't want no part of it. So part of me still acts or still feels like, man, I don't want to let this person down. I don't want to continue to confess this because I don't want people to change their mind about me. But another reason where it's like, man, I do not want to take this into my 30s. I'm 28, turning 29 at the end of December. There's a lot of things I did not want to take into my 30s, including, physical health, etc., etc. But I'm just like, fam, I cannot continue to struggle with something that I've been struggling with since childhood into my 30s, into marriages. One marriage, one marriage, into marriage. Into raising kids. Because I do firmly believe that generational curses is real. So having this kind of like dark hole or dark cloud and me sneaking around my wife, sneaking around my kids to watch pornography, it's like, I can't even fathom that. I don't even want to fathom that. I don't want that in my life at all, period, point blank. So my want to and my desire became greater than the act itself. And then on top of that, being in a system of accountability, it only adds to that protection of barrier. If y'all are struggling with pornography, y'all need to download Covenant Eyes or Accountable to You, which is kind of like these porn blocker websites or applications that is going to keep you accountable. You know what I mean? So if you try to go on these websites, it's gonna be like, can't go on the website. So you make sure you need to do it for all devices. Every device that got internet, you need to do it. Like, don't try to play with it. Don't try to just, I just need it on my phone, or I just need it on a computer, or I just need it on my laptop, or I just need it on my iPad. Bull crap. Because if you want to find it, y'all can find it. It's 2022. We know what we can do. But anyways, my desire and want to, and being an example of a man, and honestly, I did not want to die and go to heaven, and I talked to God, and God says, hey, because you could not beat this sin, die to your flesh, stop having sex outside of marriage, etc., all that stuff, this is all I could do in your life. This is all I can do in your life. And look, I know it's kind of crazy watching the camera right now with the Roommates podcast and, the success that we had, etc. It looked like God has blessed me, and God has blessed me. But I promise you, if this all that he could do in my life, and if I never defeated pornography, sex out of marriage, and really just, purity in all aspects, but this is what I could have done, that would break my heart. I'll be honest with y'all. I don't want to ever look back and be like, man, the life that God called me to have was here, but since I can't break my own flesh, this is the only thing he could do. This gap right here, brother, I can't sleep at night without having that gap fulfilled. I'm trying to do everything in my power to make sure that I am being the man that God called me and designed me to be. I got tired of living in the dark, ladies and gentlemen. I got tired of it, and I've been living in the light ever since. And I'll be honest with y'all. It feels so much better. It feels so much good to live in the light. I don't care if people judge me because I know Jesus died for my sins. I understand that. I ain't perfect. I ain't gonna never be perfect. But living in the light allows you to see a clear, more beautiful, more loving God. And also it gives you a purpose where you can inspire and change others in your lives. You are capable of defeating anything through Christ. And I promise you, you can get over this hill and this hump with the right structure, with the right accountability, with the right mindset. Amen? Amen.